2024 from our recess meeting. All right, Casey, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Alcorson?
Here.
Paul Guest?
Here.
Joe Lavelle?
Here.
Ryan Kelly?
Here.
Angela Campbell? Ely City?
Here.
And Mayor Rosa.
I am here. We do have a quorum, so we can go ahead and get started. I need a motion to approve our minutes from the August 6th, 2024 regular council meeting. Moved by Jerome, supported by Ryan. Any changes to our minutes? Any corrections? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes have passed. Moving forward, we have 3 additions to our agenda this evening. I have Budget Committee, Edition 8A, Park and Rec, Board Minutes, 8A, and also under 13B, Todd Rigo's resignation from Park and Rec Board and Tree Board, post for the 2 open positions. Does anybody have any additional additions or omissions to our agenda this evening? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Is there a little talking going on down there?
Yeah.
I am getting ready for school, so we can, you know, don't do too much. I will separate them. All right.
I have a first and a second.
All those in, I'm waiting to motion. The talking is too much. All right. Jerome, support Adam. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we have an agenda. Mayor's report. We are short on time, so I am going to, a lot of great things have happened over the last 3 weeks. And I will make sure that, I am certain the department heads will speak to some of the wonderful things that have been happening. But really quickly, thanks to Harold for helping with the great tour and being present for that at, with the IRRR and Deed Commissioner. And also to the police chief, who sent me a clip from YouTube that Carrie Levin did on the canoe extravaganza that we have done. It was done very nicely. And also thank you to Rachel for letting me once again partake in the overnight. It was, I think, one of the times that some of the most kids we've had ever, or because I didn't listen. I did not sleep for the first time ever. So it was great fun. All right, moving on to consent agenda. Which we've already done the second one, haven't we? Well, we can do them both. Do I have a motion?
So move A and B.
Is there support? Jerome. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Consent agenda passes. No request to appear. Moving on to our committee reports. Library. I was not at the library board meeting, but just as a matter of information, the library board determined that the city council must make decisions regarding ticketing, signage, and policy for electric vehicle charging. It is not the responsibility of the library board to make decisions regarding this matter. Rachel, would you care to give us some insight?
There's been a lot of discussion between staff at the city level about the parking lot and electric car charging. And so we kind of were, who was in charge of it, and the library board didn't really feel like they were in charge of it. So I went and looked at the ordinance, and it does say directly in the ordinance that all city parking lots are under control of the city council. If you guys want to make changes, you can. If you want to make it the same, you can. But the library board has now seen that, so they are not going to do anything else to ask for the city council.
Carol?
Just offer up a suggestion to kind of resolve this once and for all. My recommendation would be to sign these EV charging only, the 2-hour time limit, and then they'll be enforced just like calendar parking's enforced. You may have to write a policy on it or look into that, but that would be the starting point.
Jerome and Rachel.
Is there any, do we have any price we charge for people for charging the vehicle?
No. These were in kind for people that would be utilizing the library or shopping downtown. And what we found is that people will park vehicles there for 8-10 hours at a time, and then not allowing for others to utilize them for charging their EV vehicles. So that's just some, again, some food for thought.
Rachel?
I would add to Harold, what Harold said, that I would say designate 2 spots in all 4, because if you designate all 4, 2 spots can be used at a time, 1 for each charger. So if you're designating all 4, pretty much what you're saying is 2 spots are gonna be empty in the wall all the time. That's just a logistical sort of a thing, to do 2 spots rather than all 4 of them, because it can be charged. And then if somebody pulls into the other one and charges, so be it. I did pull some numbers earlier this year, looking at kilowatt usage versus what the solar chargers on the roof are putting out for the things. And the EV vehicles are using approximately 3 times as much as the solar panels on the roof are producing. So it is costing the city taxpayers to let people charge their for free.
Al? And then Al.
I would move in accordance with what Harold's suggestions and Rachel's comments regarding the 2 spots.
2 spots. That was a 2-hour.
Yes.
Is there support for that? And then support? Is there support for that? Support by Brian. Adam?
Is it possible to make these spots metered after 2 hours in order to?
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, moving on to Projects Committee.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
There's a lot of them. Recommendation from Projects Committee to recommend the right-of-way on East 10th Street South between South First Ave East and South Third Ave East be vacated and to forward to planning and zoning for review.
Is there support? Support by Paul. Discussion. Any discussion? Go ahead, Al.
Just to be clear, the one property that wasn't listed, that would be the one that he would maintain with his, I didn't see numbers on the properties, but, so that one wouldn't need, what, is there potential that he could sell that one property then and not have access to it? I guess that's, no, okay.
I guess just,
I want to be clear.
just when this property was platted, there was right of way dedicated to the public. Tower View Estates had a plat, and then the Beacon Hill plat, which was done, a very long time ago. This street was platted in there for potential improvement for access. It's actually an extremely steep hill, and with this plat, you would have had to have access from both of the avenues, from it'd be First Avenue East and Third Avenue East. So with combining of these properties, you really don't affect that access, and the utilities are on both ends anyway. With this motion, planning and zoning will look at this as well. There's a process for vacation of right-of-way, and then also it gets split between the 2 adjoining property owners. So on one end, it'll be split between the south owner and the north owner. So it kind of adds some complexity to it. But when we looked at it from a potential of where would access need to be put to access these properties, and then if there'd have to be any utilities extended. So, and again, planning and zoning with this motion will take a deeper look into this and bring it back to the council at a later date.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Recommendation from Projects Committee to authorize the advertising the paving and stormwater improvements on Coney Street, 8th to 10th Ave, 9th Ave from Harvey to White, and 10th Ave from Coney to Patterson.
Is there support? Support by Paul. Discussion. Any discussion? Go ahead, Carol.
This project, it was on our capital improvement plan for this year. It is getting late in season, but we're still hopeful if we were to get started, the contractor doing the curb at the trailhead could also put the curb on this 2 blocks. So we're gonna see what we have for interest and see what a schedule could look like to see what we could get done this year. So, again, this was a project plan for this year. If we can't get it all done this year, that contract would roll into the spring. So that's kind of a timeline we're looking at.
Any other discussion or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Recommendation from Projects Committee to authorize the paving of storm washout areas including Lakeview Avenue, the alley between Central and First Ave and Jane Street and Patterson Street, the edge of the roadway on Washington Street between 4th and 5th Ave, and the Sheridan and Chapman Alley behind Bridgeton's Cafe.
Is there support? Support by Adam. Any discussion? Go ahead, Harold.
Some of these sections are also being submitted for the Homeland Security Emergency Management Assistance because they really washed out beyond what we've seen. Minor washouts here before, but it really destroyed the bituminous in these areas during that storm. So the plan is here in the next couple of weeks for David Starkman to come in and repave those. So we may possibly get some assistance on a couple of them anyway.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Recommendation from Projects Committee to approve the work for commissioning the Trailhead Building for $17,000 as proposed from IEA.
Is there support? Support by Jerome. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes.
Recommendation from Projects Committee to allow low-impact excavators to process the spoiled material piled behind the Grahawk Apartments for reuse.
Is there support? Support by Paul. Discussion. Go ahead, Paul.
Let her talk
Go ahead, Jerome.
Sure. Thad Wabner had contacted me this spring, looking at this area to see if there's some organic soils that have been stockpiled there over the years, ought to be processed into topsoil for projects that they're working on as contractors. I do know there's a lot of logs and stumps and rocks and other things in there as well. So the agreement would be that as that is processed, any material that is refusal on the screener would also be hauled out of there. My hope is at some point that area can be graded to a little better elevation so that it can be utilized for other uses. Right now it's just it was used as a circle dump for snow in the winter and then in the summer for spoil material from city projects. We no longer put any soil there. We do put snow in the winter, but if we build a big apartment complex down there, that could possibly be a nice big green space. So that's kind of what we're looking at doing. Be at no cost to the city. And the other part I tried to work, and I worked in there as well, is the old mulch pile. If you recall, that's where the city mulch pile was for composting. That would be processed as well, and that would be cleaned up out of there. We now compost at the old landfill site, and that, I should knock on wood here, but it has been kept very clean with not a lot of garbage and other debris that we had seen actually at this site for many, many years. So.
Go ahead, Paul.
So low impact would take the black wood after the, okay,
Yep. That would be the plan.
Any other questions?
for their projects. Do we have any need for that?
For their projects, we have our own. We actually use our mulch pile and screen it down at the city county garage.
Okay.
So we've got our own pile there. So.
Okay.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Recommendation from Projects Committee that the fire chief reviews the request before recommending the alley between 17th Avenue and North Savoy Road be abandoned.
Is there support? Support by Jerome. Discussion. Go ahead.
This affects 3 properties there, and it was brought forth by one property owner. Do the other 2 property owners support this? Which is, we would need to see that somehow formalized.
Yes, I have spoke to this property owner. He has spoke to the other neighbors. Right now, it's actually not a platted roadway. There is a water line that comes through there, and the city has plowed it in the past, and I was kind of surprised when I looked at the Land Explorer map to find that it wasn't a platted right of way. So I have, as I said, I talked to the one name, the middle homeowner. He's in close conversations with the neighbor closest to 17th Avenue. I have not heard from the third owner in this area, so that we will, before we put any signage up, because the plan would be to put up a sign that says pretty much no through traffic, private drive. It's kind of the intent in that area, so. But we can certainly follow up with the third parcel owner. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Go ahead.
And it will be referred to the chief.
We did have that discussion already.
Okay, thanks.
Do you want to comment or are you good? Always.
I have looked at this roadway, and there's no problem from the fire department standpoint with abandoning it. But I do want to thank the projects committee for taking that into consideration.
With that, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to HPC Heritage Preservation Committee. The minutes are in your packet, and I'm sure Angela will take any questions you have when she returns. First edition is Budget Committee. Paul, I'll let you.
Yeah, the minutes are in the packet on page A1. This just been provided to you. And there is just one motion to bring. We're starting to work on the budget. You know, when all the department heads put their requests in, it comes to the budget committee, and we tell them to go back and look harder, squeeze a little bit. We try to talk generally about the state of city revenues and expenditures, and we'll be looking at that budget both as a budget committee and as a council between now and the end of September, where we have to certify it as a maximum levy. The 8.6%, I think it was, that was shown in the minutes and things like that, is very preliminary, and the council needs to make that decision by the end of the month. With that, then, I don't know if there's any questions on the budget process, timelines.
Go ahead. Oh, we're getting.
So there's a motion from the budget committee to approve updating and repairing the Miners Drive sprinkler system for a cost of approximately $5,000. Maybe Harold could elaborate on this after it's seconded.
All right, is there support for that? Jerome, discussion. Go ahead, Harold.
It's a dry sprinkler system in the building, meaning that the sprinkler heads and all of the piping remains dry. The header pipe that comes into the building with all of the sprinkler stuff is in a heated cabinet. The valve that controls that water flow into that system failed. The rubber flapper in there failed. So what happened is it filled the system full of water, which doesn't mean the building flooded. It just means that that system went from dry to a wet system. So the alarm went off, had to shut the system off because it wasn't operating as it was configured. So we did have the contractor come up, take a look at it, give us an estimate of what needed to be repaired, and before the building can be occupied, it does have a sprinkler system that does have to be operational, so the repairs are being made. The system was installed with an IRRB grant probably about 15 years ago. We've had very little issue with it. This is really, other than commissioning it each spring and then shutting it down in the fall. So I know the sticker, it's a little bit of sticker shock, but it is something we have to have operational. There's a wedding there, I believe, Friday. So.
Any other questions? Any other questions or comments? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to Park and Rec.
Yes, I have a recommendation from Park and Rec Board to approve Kristen Anthony, Ely resident, to the Park and Recreation Board with midterm expiring 1/31/2027. That is a motion.
Is there support? Support by Jerome. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Are there any other community reports that we missed? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to departmental reports. Clerk treasurer, anything else? How was your conference? Harold went to an MMUA conference and he's now on the executive committee or general board. General board, so that's a good thing for this. Fire chief.
All right, since the last time we met, which was back on August 6th, yes. Ely Fire responded to 24 medical calls and 4 fire calls. Our new members have started. They've also started their training. 3 of the new members will be doing their training in Brighton Township, and one of them will be doing his training in International Falls. That's due to an injury he sustained, not a fire department related injury, but an injury he sustained separate from the fire department that's going to prevent him from training regularly. Not allowed him to train regularly. So I think that's all, unless you have any questions.
Any questions for the fire chief? Seeing none, we will move on to library director.
So as Heidi said, we had a successful wrap up to our middle school program with the most kids we've ever had attend, the most pizza they've ever eaten, and the longest they stayed up. Which was great, and if any of you know Eleanor Nyquist, she was our big winner this year, walked away with the cash prize. So we've also been wrapping up this week our kid program, so I got to make a list of about 50 kids that won prizes at the end of the summer, and we've got them coming all week to come pick things up. And coming up, we'll be closed for Labor Day on Monday next week. We've got some new take-and-make kits going out for September, which will be Scarecrow paper bag puppets. We'll have a new spice, marjoram, and we have some new legacy kits to go out in September that are calligraphy. So if you want to learn how to do calligraphy, it's definitely an adult-based kit, not a kid-based one. So come in and check those out. I also wanted to mention, I'll mention again next week, that the staff will be attending the ARSL conference, the Association of Rural and Small Libraries, from the 10th through the 13th of September. So the library will be closed during that time. No one needs to worry. We do have people coming in to check on them. So that's all I have, unless you guys have any questions for me.
Any questions for Rachel? Thank you. Police chief.
And not much today, but I think you kind of alluded to it. Next Tuesday, summer's officially over for kids back to school, so it's a yearly reminder that there'll be a lot of kids crossing the roads and going back to school. So I know us parents and people still going through town, slow down, be a little more conscious of the kids out going back to school. We should hopefully have the school patrol kids out again, but still be aware. Other news, you alluded to it, we did have a nice positive news story on our canoe promotion from Carol 11. It can be found on their YouTube page. It was very well done, pronounced my name wrong, which I'm used to my entire life, but I was very impressed with it. And then also today we took delivery on our new squad car. It will be probably end of November before we actually have it on the road. It still has to be outfitted with all the fancy still word from Harold equipment or stuff. But end of November probably, hopefully we get it on the road. That's all I got.
Any questions? Thank you. City attorney.
Yes, just one item for you, consideration note and mortgage for residential rehab loan for Morgan Sauls for $10,000 to remedy mold.
So moved by Jerome, supported by Al. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right. And for the city engineer, we do have one communication from Ely City Hospital. There are member updates. Any comments on that? If not, we will move on to claims for payments. We'll take a motion for one or all items. Brian.
So
So move A, B, and C.
Is there support? Support by Adam. Any discussion? Discussion, seeing none. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. There is no old business. We'll move on to new business. Resolution 2024-32. Resolution authorizing the City of Ely to make application to and accept grants from IRRR revenue bonds for the Pioneer Mine Historic Site Maintenance and Displays Project. Is there a motion? Moved by Jerome, supported by Ryan. Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, Casey, please call the roll.
Councilmember Al Porson,
Yes.
Paul Cass,
Yes.
Jerome DeBellis,
Yes.
Ryan Kelly,
Yes.
Angela Campbell, Adam Bisbee,
Yes.
and Mayor Merza.
Yes. Resolution passes almost unanimously of the members present. All right, and then we have our additions. Todd Crago's resignation from Park and Recreation Board and Tree Board, and to post for 2 open seats on those boards. I need a motion. Go ahead, Jerome.
Also moved that we move this, and also that we send a letter of thank you for serving on the boards.
Is there a support? Support by Ryan. Any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Okay, perfect. Here, you can, a little airplane over that. All right, and as I look at our open seats, we still have 2 midterm seats for the HPC, 2 for tree board. Is that correct? Am I reading that right?
Yes.
Okay. So 3 for tree board then, or is it 2 for tree board? Okay. Very, very good. So if you're interested and you want to volunteer, there's lots of opportunities. All those in favor? Did we already do it? Okay, sorry. I got distracted. It's been a really long. All right. Do we have anyone for open board? Okay, with that, we are adjourned. We will be starting our study session to talk about the ambulance service and invited Ely Community Hospital to talk about their study in approximately half an hour. So stick around. We are adjourned.